Hey y'all, Jim Pankey here. I want to talk to you today about detuning and detuners. And there's a certain amount of just noodling around with the banjo that you should be doing. And I don't know if you've experimented with detuning. I know I've got a couple of songs out there where I demo and go through kind of slow. I think there's John Henry, and you might find Home Sweet Home in D, and there's even a Rubin lesson, and those are in D tuning. But you may not have experimented with that, so I want to show you this. If you've been through my beginner series, follow the link if you haven't. Then you can mess with this different tuning, and so let's look at that. I've got several different banjos here, and so we'll talk about the tuning and we'll talk about detuners, just like what I opened up with. Hey y'all, before we go any further, I need you to do me a favor. If you like what I'm doing and you enjoy the content that I'm putting out here and you're learning to play the banjo, do me a favor. Please subscribe. There's the red button down there. Hit that button and subscribe. Once you've done that, there'll be a little bell. And if you want notifications when I post a new video, hit that bell. This is how I know that I'm helping folks. And when I see subscribers and I see that folks are set up to get notifications, well, it makes me happy. So make me happy. Click the subscribe button, and I appreciate it. Thanks. Now we'll get into the lesson. You've been playing out of standard G tuning. So that's a G, D, G, B, and D. You've been playing out of that. And so that's G. So everything we've played, that's all in G. And so we're tuned to G. But so let's talk about detuning. Earl used detuning on Rubin and John Henry are two big ones he did. Careless Love's another. And so let's talk about that. But first, let's get into detuning, and I'll walk you through getting there. What we're going to do is we're going to change three of our strings. Our two D strings are going to stay the same because, well, we're going to D. But so let's start with our second string. So first string is going to stay on a D, and then the second string, I'm going to turn my tuner on, and I'm going to take that B note, that's a B, and we're going to come down to an A note. And now we're kind of close to an A, but it doesn't have to be exact just yet because we're going to have to fix that. But we're going to go down to an A. And then we're going to take our third string and we're going to tune it down to an F sharp. And get it kind of close. It doesn't have to be perfect, but get it kind of close. Now let's check our other strings. Hit our first string. Make sure that's still a D. It might be a little sharp now that you loosened up the other strings. Check your fourth string. Make sure it's still a D. And now your fifth string, you've got an option. You can tune your fifth string up to an A, or you can tune it down to an F sharp. And I like to tune mine down, but you can go either way, and I'll show you both ways. But I'm going to tune down. To an F sharp. Now, let's check all of our strings again. So that's a D, that's an A, that's an F sharp, and a D, and an F sharp. Now we are in D tuning. So all your chords have changed. Everything that you knew is now different. And so, but what I want you to experiment with, and then I'll show you some chords too, but what I want you to experiment with is just your right hand rolls. And get get a feel of how that sounds. And then the other thing that you can experiment with is your slides and your hammers. So pretend like you were going to play Cripple Creek, but we're going to do our slide on the third string just like we've been doing. We're going to do our alternating roll. We're going to slide from 2 to 3. So that's just 3, 2, 5, 1 with a slide from 2 to 3. Our pinches. So you could go slide, 4, pinch. And you're building Reuben right there with just the slide, 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 4, pinch, slide, slide, 4, pinch, 4, pinch, slide, 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 4, pinch, slide, 4, pinch, 3, pinch, or whatever you want to do there. Watch, I can even put the words to that. And so it's just slides and pinches. So it's Reuben had a train, drove it downtown through Maine. You could hear that whistle blow 100 miles. So we're in the key of D. And the right hand patterns are still the same. We're still doing slides and hammers on the left hand. So you can experiment with D. Now you can learn what I just showed you there, but what I hope for all of you is that you'll try this tuning and just sit and monkey around with the banjo and figure out just something, just anything. I mean, you can totally do this. So let's talk about a couple of chord shapes that you're going to need. I mean, you got 3 chords, you can play pretty much anything you want to. So let me show you 3 chords. I'm going to reposition so you can see my left hand. Hey there. All right, so I've repositioned. Let me show you these chord shapes. So you got a D, that's open. So you know your D chord. So let's learn 2 more chords. We're going to learn a G chord and we're going to learn an A chord. So your G chord it's a 2-finger chord, index finger 3rd string 1st fret, and you can use your social finger on the 2nd string 2nd fret. It's kind of like, you remember your D7? It's kind of like we took a D7 and swapped it around backwards. So that's our G chord. And then you can also play that, instead of using your social finger, you can use your, and I often use my ring finger there. So that's, and then my social finger's up here in case I need it. I'm gonna need it. But, so there's our G, and then our A chord. So we can leave that finger right there, 3rd string, 1st fret, and then our social finger is going to go on the 4th string, 2nd fret, and our ring finger is going to go on the 1st string, 2nd fret, and that's our A, or an A7, but that's our A. So you got a D, G, and A7. So there you go. So those are chords. And so you can play around with those. Here, let me show you. Just playing rolls and chords. So experiment with that. Using those chords, you can play songs you know. Let's do You Are My Sunshine. All right, so we could do You Are My Sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. And so all I'm doing there is just playing an alternate roll with my right hand and changing chords. So that's detuning, and I sure hope that you'll experiment with it. Now, let's talk about detuners. Now, this banjo doesn't have detuners, and I haven't really done a lot of discussion about detuners. I know I did a couple of videos where I demoed them, and because when you're just starting out, that's just one more thing that you don't necessarily have to buy, but boy, they sure are fun. And I bought detuners pretty early in my banjo journey, and I bought, like, they were shallers, and they were made like the Bill Keith tuners, and I bought those. But if you don't have detuners, then sometimes you can fake a sound, but you can't always get the exact same sounds. If you look online, and you can find Raymond Fairchild playing Home Sweet Home out of detuning, but he's bending the strings. So he's reaching up here and bending strings. So kind of like that. And I'm not very good at that, but basically what I'm doing is I'm bending. I'm pushing on that one, and this one I pull. And if you want to go that route, like songs that are in D and Home Sweet Home, you can certainly do that way. All right, let's look at a couple of different sets of detuners. Alrighty, so let's look at the Keith style tuners, detuners. And if you'll look, you'll see there's a couple little extra screws on these tuners, and they allow you to tune, and they're stopped. So you tune down to a spot and it'll stop. You tune back up, it'll stop. So you can set these ahead of time. So if you know you're going to detuning, you just turn the peg, and they stop. You just have to set them in the tuning to begin with. So if you were preset, you could go into detuning really easy, and then all you have to do is tune your fifth string. So I talked about you could tune it up to an A, so we can bring. And now we're in detuning just by using the Keith style tuners, and that's what they look like. And I have them on all 4 strings because, well, I'm a tryhard. But I just wanted them on the other strings because I can go to other different tunings with them. There are other options, and the one I'm using that I really like, oh, here, let's get these, are the cheetah keys. So those look a little different, and so they're attached, and it puts a whole extra set of pegs on your headstock, and they just clamp on there, so it's not a permanent thing. Now, back when Earl did this, he drilled holes and created and put in cams to move the strings, and that's the way these work. Here, let me see if I can get this where there's no glare. You see those move? And so once they're set and adjusted, then you've got, you know, the same feature, but it's on a separate peg. For me, the advantage of these, if a string goes out of tune, I just adjust the tuner, just like normally. The detuners stay set, whereas on the Keith style tuners, I have to reset them, and it can be, it's a process. These I pretty much just ignore. Once I set these, which was months ago, I haven't really touched them. I mean, you can tweak them a little bit, the little pegs there to tweak the tuning just a little bit, but I really don't have to mess with them. I've changed strings, I've done a variety of things, but these have stayed pretty much set. So these are the cheetah keys, and tuners are expensive, and you can look online, and I'll put a couple of links in the description here, and you can go look and decide, hey, do I want to spend that much? Because sometimes, I mean, when you're just starting out, you may have spent $150 to $200 for a banjo. You don't want to spend another $150 to $200 for a set of tuners necessarily, but if you've stepped up and bought a better banjo, then maybe think about some detuners. Sure are a lot of fun, and you can use them in a lot of different places. Right now I'm tuned in. We're in G. Watch this. So we can use the detuners, you know, in the standard, kind of like Earl does. You know, you've heard Earl do Flint Hill Special. You've heard him do that, but we can use those for melody too. So in Cripple Creek, we're going. We could go. So you can use the detuners in a lot of different places, and I do. So there you go, folks. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Hit that red button. It's free. All right. Thank y'all. See you next time.